Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Canucks practicing Carolina for the second day in a row. We found out Rick Tocchet's plans for Power Play 1 and Power Play 2 in regards to the newest Canuck, Elias Lindholm. We'll get to that in a second. But first, it is a Monday, and all of our guests today, including Kevin Woodley, standing by, sponsored by Passat Motors. Passat is looking to help save you money in 2024. Choose no car payments, no gas payments, or no insurance payments until the summer. Get all the info at Passat Motors, BASANT Motors.com. From InGoal Magazine and NHL.com, we now bring in our friend Kevin Woodley. Kevin, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very well, very well. Before, this still has to do with the Canucks, but this is regarding All-Star Weekend. What was going on? Thatcher Demko rejecting Jeremy Swayman's hug in Toronto. What do you think?
Listen, not everyone's a hugger, right? I got to be honest. I don't know. Maybe this was a bit. Maybe as so many Canucks fans are hoping for, it was I'm not hugging a Bruin. Maybe he does truly. He's embraced the whole hate the Bruins dating back to 2011. Or maybe, and listen, this is the fine line I walk, and Rick knows this one well. I'm not texting Thatcher Demko to ask him about the hug. And in some ways, that is why I think it probably happened. I'll give you an example. At InGoal, we did a 45-minute video sit-down with Thatcher last year where he broke down plays for us. Hockey talk, why he chooses certain saves, certain depth selection, everything. He was brilliant and so gracious with his time when it came to hockey. But I just don't think he has a lot of time for anything that's performative, for lack of a better term. And that may be, if I was guessing, and again, no information, that would be what I'm guessing here. This is just, there are times when he's serious, and when he's serious, he's not into this kind of thing. And we've sort of seen it on the media side. Even me, as gracious as he was with his time on the video stuff, he's not going to sit down and break down why he tapes his stick the way he does, even though there are other guys, pro hockey players or pro goalies I know, that tape their stick the same way because Thatcher does it that way. So I think that's my guess. It was somewhat performative, and that's not the kind of stuff he has a lot of extra time for.
And Rick Tocchet has gone on record several times as saying the one thing that impresses him most about Thatcher Demko, other than his ability to stop pucks, is that he's all business. Can we run that video again, Ryan, if you don't mind? Or Derek, if we could run that video again. You'll notice here, Thatcher Demko, we'll see him come into screen in a second, with the all-white pads, all-white gloves, and I know you wanted to talk about this, Kevin. Canucks, maybe this is Ian Clark, aren't fans of their goalies wearing dark gear pads. Explain.
Well, so this is something I got a lot of questions about, because obviously the next day Thatcher came out with the retro all-black set with the flying skate, and then a lot of people are wondering, hey, why haven't we had that during the season? That would look spectacular. And the rule of thumb here is basically it comes from Ian Clark. It's that you want white on the outer edges. You can have color on the inside, but the outer edges of the equipment needs to be white. And the idea is to create visual ambiguity in the eyes of a shooter, right? In that split second, less than a second, when a shooter looks up and sees what you're filling and what you're not, dark lines on the outer edge of your gear create a frame. They create an immediate sort of, this is where your coverage ends and the net begins. And so the concept here, and we've seen it embraced by all the goalies, that have come through here, is that split second in a game of, half inches and half seconds, if that matters, we're going to take advantage of it. Now, the other question I got a lot online after this was, why does Casey DeSmith have black pads? Why was he able to get away with it? And the simple answer is he was told to order a set before the season to match these jerseys, and he ordered it before he knew what the rules were. And given how infrequently he's likely to play at home in those jerseys where they wear them, the decision was made to just let him do it.
Kevin, Demko has started 35 games. That only 3 goalies have started more.
Somebody getting a phone call here?
Who's that? That's got to be you, Woodley.
No, I got no phone calls.
No, I was Ryan.
Well, Kevin, if you don't mind, we'd like to have this entire interview with music in the background. I think it'll add something. So
I'll tell you,
if that's okay, we'll continue.
Hey, I may not have dressed up in the Hawaiian shirt for Dolly today, but I'm still a pro. I got this on Do Not Disturb on this
I
end.
tell you, that scared the hell out of me. That was booming in my headset. I was like, what the heck? Okay, let me try to rephrase where I was at. Demko's on.
Sorry, Kevin.
Live TV, you can't beat it. Kevin, focus. 59 starts. I'm telling myself.
Kevin's okay.
Demko's on pace for 59 starts. His career high is 64. How do you think they manage him down the stretch?
Listen, Kevin's just happy to have the full Rick Dollywall experience today.
Yeah.
I like that's sort of maybe a little above your ideal window. I think we've seen this come down over the years, 70s into 65 to 60. And now I think Jim Rutherford even said it going into the season, like the ideal would be 55. I haven't looked at how many back-to-backs they have left. I apologize, Rick. So automatically
three sets.
Yeah, so obviously you're only knocking 3 off what's left. There's no way he's starting 30 more. So listen, if anything in between 55 and 59, like in that window, I think is fine. I think ideally you want to get him down, and the focus becomes not so much on games played, is how's the body feel? And this is a conversation that goes on constantly between him and Ian Clark, and I'm imagining the medical staff as well. How's the body feel? How's the mental? Like, because the reality is a lot of the fatigue is sort of the grind mentally on these goalies these days. And sort of find that line between not playing him too much and making sure he's still got a little bit of rhythm, a little bit of timing, and feels good about his game. Try and get him. Let's be realistic. The first 6 weeks of the season were unbelievable how good he was. Trying to find him, get him an opportunity to get closer back to the form he showed at the start of the season. Then, some of the more consistent but lesser highs over the last couple of months.
Kevin, we're getting hints from management to keep an eye on Abbotsford because there might need some. There's 10 free agents on this Canucks roster. One of them, a UFA, is Casey DeSmith. If they don't re-sign him, do you think Artur Silovs next year could be the backup?
Well, Casey, with his raw numbers, is playing himself into a raise, and I don't know what the cap situation is going to look like here. And, I know in the offseason, too, LA made a coaching change at the goalie coach position and brought in Mike Buckley, who Jim Rutherford knows very well from his time in Pittsburgh. He hired him. He extended him right before he left in Pittsburgh. And there's a relationship there between Casey and Mike. I think they still work together in the offseason. There's a team that could be looking for goaltending help, and a Casey DeSmith might fit the bill there. So I think it might be hard to bring Casey DeSmith back. And so, listen, when we saw Silovs last year, I think what impressed me the most was how quickly he adjusted to the NHL game, the adaptations he made in terms of not overplaying things technically. He got better. It was a brief stint, but he got better as it went on. And I think that's promising, combined with the performance he had, obviously at the World Championships, but just day in, day out at the American Hockey League. He's bought in completely to what Ian Clark teaches. And I think that he's a guy that's at the very least worthy of having a shot. If you don't bring back Casey, and then you just need to make sure you find somebody behind him so that sort of in case of emergency break glass guy, whether it's Silovs needing more time as the season goes on, not getting enough starts, or injury, right? You always need 3 or 4 anyway. So I think he's very capable of stepping into that role next season, especially if it's a cost-cutting move for the Canucks in terms of not being able to afford what DeSmith brings, or he's going to command and being able to get Arturs here at a lesser number.
You're a pro, Kevin. You handled that musical interruption way better than we did. So we appreciate this. We'll get you back on the show soon.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.